I hope all of you are feeling refreshed after learning a lot about AI agents, how to build them. Wonderful. All right, it's 3 p.m. and I hope everyone had a good lunch break and you're back with a refreshed mind. Are we all back into the session? Drop in the word or let me know how you are currently feeling on the chat box. I hope all of you are feeling refreshed after learning a lot about AI agents, how to build them. Wonderful. All right, all right. And as more people kind of join in, let me go ahead and set context once again. Great. Om, you may want to make Manish the co-host as well as he takes over. Wonderful. So we are now approaching the last leg of the AI masterclass, and this is going to be super interesting because I remember all of the questions that all of you asked during the onboarding call in terms of creating workflows, creating automations that you can essentially use to, transform any current process into a much more efficient manner by using AI. This session is going to be all about that. And Manish, who has been a mentor at Growth School, has also runs his agency where he kind of goes ahead and provides these services to other companies. So all of your questions around process automations are going to be cleared in this particular session. Like I said, there are going to be two parts to this session because it's very important for everyone to understand how to logically draft the current process that we follow and then be able to convert that into an automated workflow. So the whole session is going to go on for about 2.5 to 3 hours. And of course, I don't think I'll have to repeat this again. We will be taking breaks, but the chat is also going to be turned on all throughout the session. You For people who are seeing automations using no code platforms like make.com, a lot of questions might come to your mind and a few parts might feel overwhelming for you if you're seeing it for the very first time. But my strong recommendation is do not worry. Even if something feels overwhelming, drop it in on the chat box. We'll reiterate, keep the session very slow so that all of you are able to grasp the entire process as we move forward. And our team is also there to help you out with any questions that you may have, right? On that note, let me go ahead and welcome Manish. Manish, I hope you are able to hear me and
Hey, Funny.
Hey.
Yep.
Wonderful.
I'm audible? Well,
yes, we can see you. Folks, are you all able to see Manish and hear him well?
hey guys, really glad to see almost close to 1,000 people enthusiast about AI automation on a Sunday evening. That's amazing. Perfect. So I think I'm very much audible now.
Yes. I think someone is able to hear you. Wonderful. I think we can get started. Just reiterating myself once again as few more people joined in. If you at any point of time in this session feel that what you're seeing is slightly overwhelming, I would recommend all of you to stay on. The reason is post this session, we are also going to be giving you a step-by-step document that is going to also help you with all of the instructions that will allow you to set these automations yourself, right? Like I said, there are going to be two parts, the logical part of it, and then we will be getting into the workflow using make.com as a tool. Manish is brilliant with his teaching, so I'm going to hand it over to him right away. And over to you, Manish. We can get started.
Sure. So hey everyone, I'll start with something about Funny. He always make people weird about what is automation. It's going to be complex, technical. I'll try best to make it as like in as layman term as it is, and you'll be able to get good idea. You may even start executing automation yourself after this 3 hours of session. So that is something I can promise you. Obviously, it's see we have two kind of audience. Some people would have been good with technology, they understand tech stack, language, things and all, and some people who are completely non-tech. So I'll try to balance between both the things. Someone who knows coding, who knows technology well, it may sound like boring, okay, at the start, but I'll try. We'll have to carry the other people who are non-tech as well. So this session is divided into two parts. One is first we are going to go with a theory, and the second part where we'll do practicals, right? And on top of that, I'll show you a couple of good concepts that I built, and like even you can start building after the session right itself. Yeah. Now, this whole session we have planned where we are going to showcase you how different automation works, let's say in terms of no code, low code, or even the full coding automations, as well as how to build processes, how to build different kind of use cases, how to think them, and then finally implement using these technology, right? So are you all excited to get started? Quickly, and I would honestly love your interaction, your engagement in the chat box, because that gives me energy, that makes me understand that we are on the same page. Please feel free to interrupt me in case if you find my speed is slow or fast, or you're not able to understand something. I will be happy to repeat certain concepts, but the most important part is put your undivided attention for next 3 hours, because as like we all know, it's about technology, it's about connecting multiple things together. So even if you miss out a simple logical term, or let's say some sort of logic through the entire process, you may get stuck while you're doing the same thing, right? So please put your full attention. I would not recommend you to do things with me, so just try. In case if you wanted to take screenshots, please feel free to do that. And if you have questions, I will also float a Google form where you can put your questions so I can address them later on. So, with, someone
Just
says video is
one
pausing.
second. I think a few people are facing video lag issues. It's perfectly fine on my end and on our end.
Okay. Maybe some internet connection issue, but funny, you, I'm transmitting to you, right?
Yes,
Properly?
yes.
Okay. Okay. Is my voice clear? Funny, is my voice clear?
Voice is perfect.
Okay, perfect. Guys, okay, so let's get started. Again, as you already like mentioned here, in something happens, video pauses or something, please feel free to interrupt over here. But with that note, I think most of the people can get it right. So let's get started with the theoretical part of this, the fundamental of the whole session. So see, to set some context, you all learned many different AIs from Weber, from other mentors in last 2 days session or whatever session you took. Now, AI can help us to do certain things, certain intelligent things, or maybe some boring stuff as well. So AI can help us to reduce
Manish,
it.
1 second. I think people are still facing audio lag issues.
Okay, strange.
1 second. Okay. Okay, audio is fine, but the video is lagging, is what they're saying. Manish, if you can reduce the
Okay.
probably I think that'll help in giving a
Sure, funny. One sec. A video. Let me try to reduce the video quality if I can.
yeah.
It says HD at this point. I'll just took it to normal. Original ratio, that's fine. Okay, I will just turn off my video, turn it on back. Okay, perfect. Is it good now? I just turned off the HD part of the video, HD setting of the video.
Okay, Vidushi says perfect. Fine. I think it was Vidushi who was facing a challenge earlier, but it's fine on her end and everyone else as well. Wonderful. We can go ahead.
Perfect, great. So yeah, thanks guys. Now let's get in the core context of this whole session. So you would have already learned many AIs. You are learning from other mentors in this whole masterclass in the workshop, right? Now AI can help us to reduce or to do more with the less time with using AI's intelligence, right? But still, when we see AI tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, or even any sort of image generation, research, whatever, XYZ, so far you would have seen you have to operate those tools on that particular UI, right? Their user interface, maybe on a browser or somewhere. And that is a bottleneck when you use AI. Let's say if you're just using for personal purpose, your own individual things, absolutely okay. But what if you wanted to put that AI in work while you're like running a business process, or you wanted to run a department, or you want to do AI with like maybe hundreds of work every day? in that case, you can't sit on the system, you can't do like everything manually, interact with AI, and it's keep on doing things for you, right? So in that case, the automation jumps in, and automation help you to connect AI with your actual business tools, be it a CRM, be it any sort of accounting system, any sort of content creation system, lead management, communication. It's almost anything, right? So automation is completely different from AI. It is empowering AI, and automation exists for very, very long time already in this space. If we take a very basic example, let's say, okay, sorry guys, one sec. Om told me earlier that I should turn off the annotation.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you
one sec.
can just disable the annotation.
On my, so sorry. Annotation is. Hey, so sorry for this interruption. Funny, can you please tell me again how to stop?
So as you
Okay,
shared,
perfect. Done. Disabled annotation for everyone else. Fine. So I think you'll not be able to scratch my screen again. That's good. Let me clear up everything. Someone would have done that. That's fine. Perfect. So basically, the automation existed for years and years already. AI just came in, but automation was there in a very basic form. Let's say if there is a cash counting machine inside a bank, that's an automation, right? It's doing some physical task automatically by a machine. So cashier doesn't have to do that. Or let's say if you have a calculator, you have Google Sheet formulas, all of these are part of small automation that help you to reduce your work. And that's what we are going to talk today. But now the context got a little more advanced, more wider, where we are talking about like hundreds of other business softwares. It's not just about that calculator. It's not about that Google Sheet formula. It's not just about that cash counting machine. It's everywhere. So these days, there are many advanced tools available. There are many advanced practices available. AIs are there, and they require to be put into your business processes in an automated mode. So you can gain most of those AI tools, most of those softwares which you work every day. So that's the whole concept. That's the whole idea of today's workshop. A couple of disclaimers you would have already heard many times, but just what I needed is 3 hours of undivided attention from your side, so you can gain most of the things from this whole session. Now, what we are going to cover into this, first of all, we'll see what is automation, which I already described a little bit, but we'll see a couple of process examples, couple of, let's say, references, as well as we'll see why we need automation, what is the way of doing automation. There are two things, primarily two approaches. One is coding-based approach, where you have to engage some developers, some IT companies, and the second approach where we have to go with no-code, low-code, and that's empower everyone to automate their own processes. Then we'll see what are the popular tools available in market today for no-code, low-code automations. And then finally, we'll get introduction to Make.com, we'll get the feature overview, and we'll build a couple of automation use case ourselves. Now, who am I doing this entire session or talking to you guys? So my name is Manish, as already introduced. I run a company called GrowStacks, already served more than 2,000 businesses from US, UK, and the Australia region. I personally built more than 10,000 automation workflows in last about 6 years time, and worked with more than 500 different business apps and different process tools. So that's a quick thing. Now, why we need automation? That's a burning question, right? We all work into different kind of business processes, business department, or many people who are the business owner themselves, right, in this entire class. Now, you have multiple department, and each department would have a set process or multiple processes, multiple tasks has to be taken care every day. So for example, if you're into marketing, we have to do ideation, content creation, then it goes for publishing of the content, it gets into lead generation, reporting analysis, and the whole cycle keep on going. In case of accounting, you know already invoice creation, payments, accounting part, stock updates, and many, many things. So that's how these repetitive processes takes so many of our resources and so much of like lag in the whole process, even it's communication, lead management, anything, it's so much manual these days. And that's where we need, if we can utilize our manpower, our human resource into more intellectual tasks versus just doing those data entries, just handling computers, just handling softwares, right? So that's where we are like getting into automation. Couple of reasons why we need automation. Primarily, most of the tasks are or becomes repetitive in nature after a certain point of time, right? Secondly, once you are, let's say, entering some sort of invoice, once you do some sort of content generation, some sort of lead segregation, it becomes either no-brainer or low-brainer, because there are set rules, set logic, you have a set process, and things are like non-value adding or low value adding in terms of your human manpower, right? Finally, the last thing is it consumes same amount of time and effort all the time to execute the same task. So that's where we are going to put automation in place, and that can do almost like all these bottlenecks can be get rid of. So it can increase your productivity, efficiency, it can save time, help you to scale your business, your career path with less number of resources or with the same number of resources what you already have in place at this point. So that's very, very important for anyone who's starting a new business, who has a small business. You don't have much capital, you don't have like very advanced manpower. Absolutely fine. Automation can help you to scale your business to absolute next level with the same level of capacity, same level of availability. Finally, automation is or making your business 24/7 available. And finally, it's more robust in terms of less human interaction and much more efficiency or much more accuracy. So there are three type of automation exist in the world, or let's say into categorization mode, I would say, in today's world. First is we all see many manufacturing plants, different kind of packaging plants or assembly lines, right? And that's where we have many mechanical arms working together or in a sequence of actions and things get done. So that is called RPA, robotic process automation, which primarily used into these assembly lines, and those mechanical things can be done replacing human efforts. Second is we see many BPOs, KPOs, where people do large amount of document processing, large amount of data processing, do like manual data entry, some sort of data scrapping, form filing. So those things are also getting automated, and they are like there are many software available which can handle your machines as well as which can handle your complete computer screen, and all these tasks which your person goes and click or do data entry or do some manual inputs, they are getting automated these days. Again, very limited use case. The third part of or categorization of automation comes into software-based task automation. And that is the most widest use case, I would say, because these days we do almost every interaction, every work, every task using some sort of a software, be it, let's say, Gmail for communication, leads, CRMs are there, accounting systems are there, and even I'm presenting this whole thing, we are connected through a software itself, right? So if we can automate these software-based things, we can save immense number of manpower, immense number of hours being spent, effort being spent on various things. And this is the widest use case because it's being done by almost every professional, every service provider, every person who's working with these computers. So that's what our today's agenda as well. We are going to talk about how we can automate the software-based tasks, software-based things. When we interact with system, it's a manual interaction, human interaction, but we are going to automate that. Now, with that being said, I just defined some sort of a categorization in terms of how processes and how systems are being implemented across the globe or across the different era, I would say, not the globe, but different era. So about 20 years back, we were into the third world practice where we were doing everything manual. If we had to write a letter, it was a letter actually. If we had to generate an invoice, that's a paper-based invoice. And all of these things were happening through the hands and the pen paper. Then we moved to the second world where this pen paper are replaced with proper software, different gadgets, different devices, be it mobile phone, be it any sort of computer system or like POS and all such. And now we are moving into the first world, which is going to be a completely automated world where softwares will take care of all your other software things, and the human you can see in both these worlds, the second world and the third world and the second world, is going to be removed from this clerical thing or from this interaction part. So now AI and automation tools are going to work with your multiple softwares, get things done. And what we have to do is it's pushing our limit toward more intellectual work, toward more strategic things as compared to just handling softwares, just handling systems. So that's where we will discuss how we are going to do these things. Now, the biggest question, most of the non-tech people, most of the people who are not aware much about technology is going to be how a software can control other software. or how without me being present here, all of the other systems can be controlled by an AI, by an other system, by make.com kind of tools, right? So the answer is there are two ways how softwares can be controlled. One is we all see it's called UI, the user interface, how I'm interacting with the tool now. So be it, let's say, mouse, keyboard, some sort of a screen, touch screen, everything. And softwares have a UI, which we see like on a screen. We are a user, we have to operate it, and that's how it works. The second part is called API, application programming interface, right? So how the user got replaced with the application programming. Now, the API is the method which, if other system can hijack, other system can directly work with, then it can control the whole software. Let's say if you have a CRM called Zoho CRM, for example, or if you have your Gmail, if we can capture the Gmail APIs, we can control the whole Gmail, all of the action, everything what you do inside Gmail, right? So these are two things, two different things I would say, the UI part and the API part. For example, UI looks like this. So I took a screenshot of the whole Gmail. If you have to compose an email, you write something, click on this compose button, a pop-up will open. You have some slots to put your to address, subject line, attachment, body content, and hit send is going to send it. If you have to like take more actions, classify this email, delete it, archive it, do some other action, reply, tag, all of these things are given over here on the UI itself. And that's where we interact with the Gmail itself, right? Now, in terms of the user interface, let me just show you. There is a complete backend of API layer just behind this. Okay, even before that, let me just try to show you something on the API method. Now, this is the one which we talk about the UI part, where we are interacting with the softwares. But when we go with the API method, it is slightly different. So the whole layer goes in the same way. You have a browser. Let's say if you're sitting into a restaurant, you wanted to eat thing, right? So you go to restaurant, have your request given it to a waiter or someone who can assist you. That waiter goes to kitchen to the chef. Chef prepare the dish, give it back to waiter, and waiter serve the dish to you, right? The same thing happen when you are interacting with any software's UI. So you are sitting on a browser, open certain sort of window, and then you do some command, let's say compose email, write to address, subject line, something. And then as soon as you hit save, or let's say hit send button, the request is actually given into an API, which is sitting just behind your browser's screen or just behind your user interface. And that API takes care of your request. It validate if you are a right user, it validate if you are a your request is valid, the email address to you're sending is valid, and so on. And then it give that request to the backend Gmail server. And then once Gmail server says, okay, this email is sent, it respond back to the UI, to the API. It says, okay, everything is done, all good. Then API populate the same message, same sort of confirmation on your browser, said email sent successfully. Or if you go and log in somewhere, it says login successful, here is the dashboard, and so on. So those things actually happens in these two parts. UI is in your front, you're sitting in a restaurant. API is the waiter who handle things between the server, between the chef and the end customer or the UI, right? Now, as a quick introduction, the quick interaction, I would say, do you want to see a live demonstration of how APIs work behind your browser screen, behind your UI? Quickly. Okay, many people interested. Nice. I hope I'm not going too fast. Forgive me. If I am, then please interrupt me. So let's say I'm opening my Gmail over here. Okay, let me just. See, the screen which comes, we all know it's a proper UI over here. And we can do like, as we saw in the screenshot, the same thing we can do over here on our UI. Now, if you are on a screen, if you are somewhere on a computer system, or you can just note it down, there is a F12 key on your keyboard, function 12, right at the top of this. You may not want to press now, that's okay. It will just interrupt your entire experience with the browser. But if I press F12 right now, you will see this kind of a pop-up opens, and this shows what's happening behind your user interface, behind this screen. See, even if I'm not doing anything, still there are so many API calls are being done right across when I loaded this. I just removed everything. Just imagine if I click to view this particular email, it says text important compliance thing. As soon as I hit this particular email over here, see there is a bunch of APIs being called like this, right? And all of these APIs are combination of multiple things. Someone is getting email, someone will get the format part, someone will validate me as a user, someone will validate the content, and so many things. And where these APIs are going, so see here, it says mail.google.com, and there is complete email message ID, some sort of validation checks, other parameters, and this is how the UI is interacting with the back server. The speed is almost lightning speed, so you don't even realize, like, if clicking on an email is sending almost 100 or 150 API calls to maintain this whole structure, the whole UI, and give you a seamless experience, right? So many API calls are being done over here, and we don't even realize that, right? We are just engaged with the UI part. The same thing applies, let's say, if I go on any other system, for example, let's say ChatGPT, right? I just show you this. And that's happened with almost every application you are working with, be it a desktop app, which is connected with some sort of cloud server, or be it any sort of cloud-based app which you work on browser. If I just open, let's say, new chat over here, and now if I press F12, see, on GPT, it says, how can I help you? If I do something over here, let's say some sort of message, is going to call the API. See, these many API calls are being done right across your browser. Same, everything goes chatgpt.com backend API, and then here's the whole chat ID, whole message goes under the payload and everything. So this is how things works, right? Now, the whole idea is, if we can capture, if we can hijack this API part, then we don't have to work with this entire UI thing, right? We can allow a machine, we can engage a machine to directly work with this API, and we can get rid of ourselves involved in this whole process. So that's where automation empowers you. Automation says, yeah, just work with APIs and then forget UI part. Now, let's get back on the main part. So that's how APIs works. But how many of you people think, like, let's say, if I have these APIs available, I'll have to decode them first, right? Something called, it says CDN, someone says it's going to ChatGPT, some says it's going to Gmail, Google, and so on. As a normal person, as a, let's say, a layman, even if a developer, we can't diagnose, we can't handle these many API calls and then build our own structure, build our own automation, right? So, and along with that, these API calls are happening to maintain this whole UI itself, right? So we don't have to work with like these kind of structure. We are not building or rebuilding the Gmail interface itself, right? We just wanted to build our own automation for a specific purpose. So we don't want to go with this kind of infrastructure thing. Then what's the solution? If we can't read this, then we can't make automations, right? Now, to overcome that thing, all the software companies which are either reputed or who publish their APIs, they say we are preparing a well-structured API documentation which says what all things can be done with our APIs and where you can find it. So mostly, if you are using any reputed application, be it Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any reputed CRMs, any reputed accounting systems, most of them would have a section on their footer, on the homepage footer, or there is a dedicated section for something called API developers or resources, which you can either find on the bottom or footer of their website, or you can do a quick Google search and you'll be able to find it. So let's say if I go here and if I just type in something called Gmail API documentation, if I hit enter, Google is going to give me the top result, like Gmail API overview, or you can just search it out. So let's say if I go here, it's going to take me to a well-structured thing, which is a guide, which is an overview document, which is a kind of reference document, which tells me how to use Gmail API, how they are constructed, how we are going to authenticate ourselves as a valid user, and how to work with different endpoint, different specific actions that you wanted to take with Gmail. So for example, if someone would want to create and send an email, or just create email, save it as a draft, all of these actions are given over here. And believe me, in case of UI, the software companies have to maintain some sort of a decorum, some sort of easy navigation to the whole UI itself, right? So because of that, they do not give all of these actions all together on the same screen. if you see, this screen has many limited options, very limited options. Let's say it's compose, you can open an email, you can do certain very limited actions with the email. But if we go with API, APIs primarily cover almost all the aspect of any software's feature or any software's operations, and they are much, much enrooted inside the software. So many things which cannot be done on the UI, they can be very well done on the API side. And it is not just about Gmail. Let's say if you're doing any sort of social media post, you're handling data on Google Sheets, databases, CRMs. So they have many inbuilt actions, many interconnected modules, which has to be worked in a proper way. So that's how APIs are much enrooted and they can do way more things as compared to the normal UI features. Now, how the API document look like? We saw this Gmail stuff right over here. Let's say if you go here, it says Gmail API overview, which has certain limited technical things. It's a RESTful API. You can access your Gmail, send emails, do many web application things, and so on. What all things it can handle now is already given over here. If you go for specific action, let's say send email, it's going to tell you what all method you have to use, how to access the send email API, and how to make it work with coding languages like JavaScript or Python. So if you click here, let's say Python, there's a whole thing written over here. It says if you use this whole code, you will be able to send emails without touching the Gmail UI. So that's how this whole stuff works. And again, someone who's coder over here, someone who knows technology well, will be able to diagnose this, will be able to see how these things are working, right? How these things are written, what all things can they do. But people who are non-developer, never learned any coding, never exposed to these kind of languages, will see this is an alien language. I don't know what is import base 64. I don't know what is import message, right? I don't know what is this even written. So writing is a way apart. We can't even read this language in a well proficient manner. So what happens? We have to obviously, since we are non-developers, we are non-tech people, it requires a good level of expertise. It requires good level of let's say command on these softwares, on these languages. We can't do automation, but obviously the problems cannot stop us. We are humans and we do innovate, right? So many people saw this as an opportunity. Like gradually when softwares evolved, not in India as such, but the Western countries where human resources or the skilled people are already less or already in high demand, people found that if this whole thing is going to be the same way, like we'll not be able to generate efficiency, we'll not be able to make our businesses more productive, our limited resources more productive, right? So that's where they found some innovations. They did some innovations, I would say, and they started trying to empower people, empower business owners, empower non-tech people to like give some tools which can help you to automate things yourself, which can help you to work with these APIs without knowing coding, right? So that's where the emerge of no code low code tool started. And these are a couple of really good tools, I would say top 6 tools across the globe which exist now, and the list is endless. If you search no code low code platform, you'll find hundreds and hundreds of such platforms today on Google search. But what I took is top 6 tools which you can rely upon. So the first thing goes to something called Zapier. Now, Zapier started almost 15 years back in US, and they currently have about 2.5 million businesses using them as their clients. The number one platform is Zapier. The second is something called Make.com, which is emerging to a fast speed, and it is currently used by almost a million businesses. There is another tool similar to Make, something called N10, which you would have already exposed to in last sessions, or you would have heard already, right? So equal to N10, actually Make emerged from N10 itself. So kind of a similar tool. That's why I did not include that here, but that's another good tool equivalent to Make. Then Microsoft also came into this entire race and they launched something called Microsoft Power Automate, which works really well with all the Office applications. But at the same time, like it, when it goes beyond that, there are some limitations, some sort of things. So it is less adapted at this point. But again, getting good momentum in the entire race. Then something called Kissflow, Automate.io, Pabbly, India platform. It's an India origin company, and many, many more. So these are the tools which help us to directly work with APIs without knowing a single line of code or without writing a single line of code. We don't need to learn JavaScript. We don't need to learn Python or any coding languages. Even we don't have to host any script on any server. Nowhere. It's just done by these platform. You just have to know your logic and simply implement your workflows in a straight up way. The most important part is you should know what you wanted to achieve from these systems. Now, the very important question is, as I said, if you do a Google search, you'll find hundreds of such platforms today on internet. But how to choose which one is the right? Because every platform will come and say, okay, we are the best, we are the cheapest, we are like more flexible and so on. And we can't fall into the trap. Why? Because it's very important to choose right platform. Let me tell you 4 important reasons. First of all, reliability matters the most when you are implementing some sort of a software or any sort of automation tool in your business. Why that is so? See, today you came to this session. It's kind of a fun, it's kind of a learning, it's kind of a experiment which you are trying to do. Let's say, let's explore what is automation, let's explore what is AI. So at the start, we all are in a very lighter mode. We are all into some sort of a fun activity, right? Just trying to learn something. But gradually, when you learn automation, when you start implementing them with the small processes, it goes well. Gradually, it will become an addiction to your organization as well. Believe me, that will happen. So even when we started working with some US clients and they say, okay, I just want to automate this 2-step process. Gradually, they end up automating almost 100-step processes or complete process end to end. I'll show you some example as well. So that level of the automation implementation happens. So at the start, it is fun, but as soon as you start onboarding your critical processes, your most critical functions, tasks, without which your business cannot run or it can just paralyze, you will find that why not to generate efficiency on those tasks? Why not to generate efficiency on those specific actions, processes? And that's where, if your automation platform is not reliable, then if that shutdown, if it goes off, your entire business can collapse or it can just come to a halt without, like, no one knows how to handle that, right? And you will not have any humans, any manpower staying back which can handle things or which can pick up things at that fast speed, right? Because you already automated things, you would have deployed your people somewhere else. So reliability is the most important factor. Even above the pricing, you should always look for the reliability part. The second part is obviously the price. So you should compare how much your human resource are costing at this point, how much your current process workflow is costing at this point, and how much the automation will cost in terms of implementation, in terms of regular run, in terms of maintenance as well. And will you need some sort of experts? Will you need to hire someone who knows your internal automation and all? So pricing is very, very important. Just to even run that automation, you should know which platform to choose and which is going to scale to a good level later on. Third important part is the platform should be easy to learn and use. Very, very important, because you all are sitting here are the first step or first mover people, right? First step taker people. So you can learn quickly, right? You are already taking initiative. But what if you later on engage your team and the team will not be able to run platform or they'll find difficulty? Then it'll become your additional task, your additional burden just to manage this whole automation. People will say, sir, I don't know. I can't learn it. It is too complex. So ultimately, either you'll be hiring very expensive people from outside or you will end up having everything in your own hands. So very important, the platform should be easy to learn and use. And the last part, whenever you choose any automation platform, is scalability. What do I mean by that? See, as I said, we are talking about automations to automate our software-based task. Now, we use hundreds of softwares every day in our organization for different purpose. So our data is completely scattered. Our information, our flows are completely scattered here and there. So let's say just for accounting, you have a system. For CRM, you have another system. For communication, you have a third system. For emails, you have fourth system, and so on. What if your automation platform does not support one of them, or it can't configure with one of them? Now, that becomes a big bottleneck, because without that, your process flow is not complete. You'll still have to have one human resource, someone who should look out that particular step manually. So if your automation platform is not versatile, the platform which you're going to choose will not be able to work with your future technology stake, then it's not the right choice. So always think of what kind of scalability, what kind of let's say compensation that particular platform has, and accordingly pick that right choice. So always remember these four important point, very, very important. Pricing doesn't matter at all. It's all about a future, a long vision, which you are going to handle with this automation thing, right? Now, after my 6 years of experience personally, or let's say implementing those 10,000 automation workflows, working with these businesses, I found that one of the good tool which can go on all these parameters is something called make.com. Competitors are there. As I said, Microsoft Power Automate is there, Zapier is there, Anytime is there. But there are certain things which are really good with Make, and they are very, very much beginner friendly, I would say. So if you implement a tool like make.com, you'll not have to rethink at least until next 5 years. Like obviously, once you scale your business, it goes to more complex things, it goes to more complex tech stack. You may have to think about implementing something else, add on or something, right? But currently, if you are having a 5 years of vision with automation, with AI implementation, you can go with make.com with blindfolded, right? So that's my experience. And that's why I chose this particular platform to teach today how we are like going to implement that, what all features, what all specifications, and why make, right? So that's the main hero, main winner, or main, I would say, focus of today's session. Just to give you a disclaimer, some people may come up and say, okay, are you trying to sell Mac? So I'll say no, because this is not sponsored by Make at all. Even though we are a gold partner with make.com, I have experience, expertise with Make, but alongside, I also have expertise with Anytime. I'm a Zapier certified expert, many of my people also. So we work with multiple technologies, not wanted to favor someone, but this is something good for you. That's why I'm trying to present it. So first of all, why Make? Make is almost 20 times less expensive than the first opponent, which is Zapier. The second part is it got an amazing visual automation builder. What do you mean by that? I'll show you how easily you can drag drop things, how easily you can diagnose, how easily you can test the entire workflow. Very easy to manage, very easy to maintain, and to even build. So that's where it makes it a winner. Plus, it is fully future ready as well. So Make already got about 3,000 plus different apps integrated inside Make. They have native integrations. But when it comes for something beyond that, Make got a custom API calls facility where you can just plug any other software which is not exist on Make, just having API, you can connect with them and it can work seamlessly. Make got a really good, easy data handling as well. So you can see the entire flow, what kind of data is flowing into a module, into a software, what kind of data being processed, and how data is flowing out of your softwares. Mappings are very, very easy. The another important point is it got amazing or very advanced options and functions. So where, let's say, how you use formulas in Google Sheet. It is as easy as that to format any data or to handle certain if-else conditions, sums, different kind of number formulas, or even date formattings. They are very, very seamless. Predefined functions are given over there. So you don't have to do like or think of any coding, JavaScript, nothing, which is required, by the way, inside Zapier or even inside Microsoft Power Automate. So that's an advantage. And finally, it's reliable enough. Many people have, or many companies have a concern about data security, data privacy, like is it GDPR compliant? Is it some sort of what kind of data security protocol they have put in? So first of all, Make, even Zapier, even Microsoft Power Automate, these companies are very reputed. They already have all the highest standard of information security compliances followed within their own systems. So Make follows particularly HIPAA compliance for US, which is a health record management compliances, or like at most priority, at most secure data in US, I would say, in a public domain. Second is the GDPR compliances are also being followed. So these two things make it really robust and good or reliable platform with your data. Now, coming to another important point, before you think of automation, this is really important to understand what can be automated and what cannot be automated. Because out of our own fun, out of our own excitement, we'll just try to think, okay, why not to automate this? Why not to automate that? But if you do not follow this checklist, believe me, you will end up wasting so much time and maybe furthermore demotivation that automation not working, or these are all buzzwords, things doesn't work, right? So you should be clear on the fundamentals, and then only will be jumping into, or then only even touch the automation itself. So first of all, you should check your software stack has API or not. If APIs are not available, will not be able to connect them to any automation platform, not just make.com, but either of them, right? So APIs should available. If not, you should change your technical stack, or you should change your software wherever you work, be it a CRM, be it a accounting system, be it a communication system. Just ask your either supplier, vendor, or software developer, do they have APIs? They may have some close API. Just ask them if they can share with you and if you can connect with these automation systems. Second is process should be repetitive enough. Like sometimes we are just excited, we are just enthusiast about automation. We may want to automate something which takes only 1 hour in the entire month, or something happens only once a week, once a month, once a fortnight, right? So out of that fascination, we would want to automate things. But again, like if it is taking less hour than even building the automation, I would recommend to do that by manual, however way you're doing. Instead, put your time focus on something which is more repetitive, more technical, like more clerical, more like taking time and effort. Go with that. And the last very, very important part is, see, as a human, we when we work on something, when we handle a process, when we operate something, we can apply our brain while we are working on that particular task. But we can even take decisions, right? We can do some things on the go, but systems cannot do that. So softwares, any sort of automation workflows, even AI, these things run on certain logic, some sort of a predefined set of rules or conditions, or let's say logics, right? So while you build any automation, the first step, you should build a process. You should define logics, condition, rules, like how you wanted system to produce the same output what you are currently getting. I see many clients, they come and say, I want to automate my whole business. Or someone says, I want to automate my whole department. I just want to be free, implement AI automation. I'll be sitting at home, like chilling. That doesn't happen unless until you build a process, unless until system knows what do you expect, what kind of input you're going to give, what kind of output you expect, and if something doesn't work right, how to handle the situation. So very important is you should always build your process first and then think about automation. What cannot be done is absolute opposite of this, something which requires your human intervention all the time, or things are ad hoc, not very repetitive. Don't go with automation. Or if your software does not have APIs available, either change software or do not automate, do not try to automate. That's a simple thing. Now, another thing, pre-automation checklist, very important. So here, first of all, list down all the software, all the systems, check if they have APIs, and finally, also try to create a process flowchart. Let me try to show you what do I mean by this process flowchart itself. So you would have seen a software or many such softwares called Miro. So when I take any assignment, I take any projects, I always ask my clients, please build your process flowchart, which makes me understand, which makes the whole system understand how each of the steps are going to follow and what all the logics we have to configure in the system. So see here, this is a marketing agency and they wanted to do the entire lead nurturing, lead management automation. Now their leads are coming from different ways, like from CRM, from CSV, from some sort of lead magnet, opt-in forms and all. And then they wanted to nurture that lead into two ways. So first of all, enrich lead information using a tool called Phantom Buster, which extract or grab all the information from various sources. And then they say, go with a SMS funnel, go with a email funnel. Now, if they are going with email funnel, AI is going to write first email to that person with a cold outreach, that too personalized based upon their social media activities, based upon their profile experience and all. Then AI will do the entire conversation with this person. Then even it is going to ask and assess if this lead qualifies or qualify for future or does not qualify at all. And then accordingly, it will set up at a meeting, will send a payment link, or will do some sort of a product delivery. So this is how the whole process works. And it has like a couple of repeated loops, couple of delays, couple of logics to handle some sort of a conversation. So this is how the whole process looks like, works. See, imagine what happened if that client is not clear and they come and say, okay, build me a lead management flow. And when we are actually building it, we'll think of each of these steps. There will be a huge amount of time wastage, effort wastage, both from client side, from my side as well. So that's where we prefer to have a complete blueprint, a map in our hand, even before we touch the automation part. Again, very, very important thing. So you should always have this thing in place, even if it takes time, absolutely fine, but keep this thing ready with you. So yeah, I think I'm good with this whole theoretical part for now. We spent about 40 minutes just going through the all fundamentals. Now I would like to show you some really good use cases that I built for, or I would like to demonstrate for this entire workshop. Uh, you will correlate them, some of your practical problems, as well as a couple of things which will excite you because they are a little advanced use of AI, little advanced use of some other tool, which can honestly enhance your whole process, enhance your whole thing. How do you connect to them? Before jumping in there, I would like to quickly take a break and ask any questions you have so far. Okay. Guys, quickly, if you have any questions, if you have anything, please let me know. Okay.
Yeah.
Copilot, Power Automate, Hiren. Okay, thank you. How to maintain code. Okay. How to use Miro. I think we are automation topic. So Miro is nothing but a flowchart topic. F12 is not showing APIs. F12 on a keyboard, or maybe just press function F12. Okay, let's do one thing. Maybe we can hold for the questions. I'll try to show you one Google form which you guys can fill in, and all your questions can be managed over there, like can be parked over there. So
Manish, I'll share the Google form
anyone with the
otherwise.
link. Okay, that's fine, Funny. Either
Yeah.
ways works.
Share it. Yes.
Okay, so let's get into the practical part of the whole automation. I'll show you two things. Number one, right? The first use case is we all have our different social media, be it for our companies, be it for our own personal profile. And we wanted to publish content on various platforms regularly, like it's Facebook or Instagram or your LinkedIn, wherever, right? Now, what happens? This whole content creation process takes a lot of time. You have to research content, you have to create some sort of media, images, and then furthermore, everything combined together and finally publish on all these platforms. This takes a lot of time effort, as I said. Now, in the era of AI, we all try if we can give some sort of input, some sort of prompt to ChatGPT. We can ask Midjourney generate image and obviously combine together, put them on social media. This keeps your page active, this keeps your presence active, and at times you may have some really important topic, really important knowledge which you wanted to share with a wider audience, a wider community. Now, what if I tell you this whole thing can be automated? And I did personally for my own company, for my own brand. So this whole thing is automated where GPT works with a basic structure of Google Sheet. And whenever I get any idea, I can straightforward go to the sheet, I can put that idea inside, and the system simply populate the post, I review, and I say send or publish it, it just goes out. So for example, let's say this is a Google Sheet, got a couple of columns over here, where first says column A is idea content. So wherever I get any idea, I want to publish something, I simply populate over here. Then I have a couple of more columns. When the AI generate content, it goes here. So it says Facebook content, LinkedIn content, Instagram content. So AI is actually generating 3 pieces of content, each for a different platform in a different writing style as per the platform specification. Even it generates an image using ChatGPT DALL-E model or using Midjourney. And then when I say like post this entire thing, it's going to post on all these platforms, right? So let's quickly have a kind of a walkthrough of this. Let's say I got something here, something called, let's say, write a post on how to AI journalist role is going to become very important in the future and bring some good context over here. If I run this whole automation, there is a backend system, there is a backend make.com flow, which is working around and handle my request. So let me go here and let's try to see something. By the way, this is only one part, right? I'm going to showcase you many such automations which drastically reduce the amount of human resource or headcounts implemented into different processes. So one of my client who just automated the whole lead funnel saved 2 full-time headcount, right, from that whole process. So these 2 headcounts were deployed somewhere in the process, which execute almost 500 times every day. Whenever lead comes in, the whole flow executes. And that's where a whole efficiency of 2 people generated. Let me try. Okay, it's taking some time.
Manish, I think it's better to turn off your
Sorry,
video.
guys. Okay. Is my voice still lagging? Funny?
No, the voice is good now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, sorry. Please be patient about this. I think it's taking a little while to load. Hey, not sure. It's taking so much time. Maybe funny. If anyone required, so we can take a 2-3 minutes break while I'll just try to load this particular screen on make.com.
Sure. Let's do that.
So anyone who's hungry or who want to take a water or a bio break, you can please feel free to do that. Uh, Somehow it's taking a little longer than expected.
Okay, Manish is just joining back, and we will get the network issue sorted and we will resume from here. Okay. Okay, we are just fixing the internet issue at Manish's end and we will resume in the next 2 minutes. And yes, you will get the Excel file as well, Amit. Miro link and automation workflows will also be shared. Okay, and as Manish is fixing it, he's just joining back. We'll take a quick 5 minute break, keep your questions coming in. What I will also do is, I see a lot of good questions around automations coming in. So I will share this form link with all of you right now on the chat. You can go ahead and drop your questions in as we get into the Q&A much later in the session. We will go ahead and take questions from this. So just closing the chat box for a quick minute so that all of you can open this form on your computers, keep it open, and you can continue to post all the questions that you may have as the session moves forward as well. We'll just take a quick 3-minute break and come back as Manish joins in. Okay. Okay, Manish is back. I'm just giving you the access, Manish. Give me 1 second. Have Manish, you have the access now.
Okay, perfect, Funny. I'm back.
Wonderful.
I hope I'll not have to do that annotation part again, or maybe it's already.
Oh yeah, you should disable it as you're sharing your screen again.
Okay, fine. Okay, guys, so sorry for this whole interruption. Honestly, I took more than, we are taking these sessions for more than like a year now. This is the first time when I had to drop and I came back. So sorry for this experience. Let me share my screen and let's get this going again. Okay. Okay, Funny, is my screen visible? Can you please confirm?
Yeah, it's loading up.
Okay, perfect. Done. So see, I tried to show you something called in a Google Sheet. Now my whole process is
Manish,
whenever I
it's
get
still
an idea.
loading up. It's still loading up.
No worries, Funny. Okay, it will come. Something is strange. Actually, it's almost 50 Mbps speed, which is more than 10 times what Zoom requires, but Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Just to secure some bandwidth or maybe some water issue, I'll just turn off my video. Okay.
Sure.
So basically, whenever I get any idea, I thought as like, why not to have a Google Sheet where I can park all my idea content. And whenever I wanted to generate a post, some sort of a LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram update, I can build an automation which takes my idea to ChatGPT, create an amazing good visual as well using ChatGPT Daily or Midjourney, and then publish everything back on the social media once I review everything. So what I did is I created this whole automation workflow which looks inside my Google Sheet. First, if I say generate content, it's going to go generate content over here using GPT. Using GPT is again will generate some sort of image, will put everything back for my review. Once I review, it's going to go through all of these models. So let's try to run this. And here I have some post called write a post on how the AI generalist role is going to become very important in future, right? Now, as I say, generate content for this particular post. If I run this automation scenario, is going to get in and okay, new connection, get the data from my Google Sheet and will populate everything back on the sheets when the GPT generates everything, right? So, okay, yes, we should. So these are connections which perfect. Let's try and see this. So what happened is when I say generate content for this particular one, then it is getting all the content out from my sheet. It generated 3 different content pieces from the AI part, like for the Facebook, for the Instagram, as well as for LinkedIn. Now it is generating the image without me touching the GPT at all. It's all interconnected using make.com kind of platform, right? So makes take care of all of these system integration, makes take care of all these interconnection. And if I go back now here, see the magic of this AI and automation. What it says, this post, now the status got changed automatically to something says content is ready for review. And over here, I got 3 beautiful piece of content. One is for Facebook, which has some emojis, more contextual thing, kind of a semi-casual tone, right? Then it has LinkedIn content, which is more towards formal tone, kind of a professional official language. And then Instagram, which has multiple emojis, kind of a fun, kind of a engagement language over here. And alongside, it also generated an image over here. So if I click on this and just populate, let's see what kind of thing it does. So GPT did a decent job, not very bad, not very good, but the feature is here. It's called like for AI generalist, right? Same way, if I have something else, let's say, for example, I just write down something called I'm launching a shoe brand and in Mumbai, for example, right? And maybe the brand name is Growstacks, for example. If I say generate content for this piece, again, I can provide more information, more context to it. But just for now, for a demonstration purpose, an idea came to my mind. I simply straight up go and ask this whole thing to be generated. I don't even have to click on this run once button all the time. It's going to be scheduled. So let's say if I have to publish a post every day, every hour, every 6 hours, everything will be taken care by the automation platform itself. And I'm just giving you a demonstration, a kind of aspiration, what we are getting into. We'll build this whole automation workflow together as well today on this class itself. So see here, now the content is got ready for review. It says exciting news, everyone. We are thrilled to announce our new shoe brand that is called Growstacks in Mumbai. And this whole thing is over here. So let's know in the comment. Same way for things on LinkedIn and for the Instagram altogether. This time, let's see what kind of justice GPT did with the image quality. Let's check out. See, so kind of a Mumbai theme, multiple shoe options. Now you may say like, it doesn't look good, right? There is a reason for it. So when we generate images using ChatGPT, there are some options available. Do we want to have a natural image or do we want to have a vivid kind of style? Currently, it is selected as natural. That's why GPT is trying to include all the natural photos, right? So if you see here, this particular image has everything as a natural image in the background. All the shoes are real. But now, if I redo this whole thing with a vivid style, then GPT is going to do a little different job where it has more illustrations as compared to actual images. So what I did is, if I have to regenerate something, simply go back here, change the status to generate this content, and now it is doing its job. So it generated content for all of these platforms as such. Now generating image, and you will see a complete different image altogether. So let's wait and let's see what kind of job this GPT does. Perfect, it's done. So new content came here, the status got changed back. And if I click on this particular photo or image, let's see, much decent as this time. So you can see now it is a vivid style, not a natural style. And vivid is way better than, in this particular case, way better than the natural one. You would have also seen GPT recently launched their like image generation model. It is way more refined as compared to the previous ones. So if you use GPT-4 or something, it's going to be much better than this as well. So this is the first part. Now if I say simply post this content, I reviewed everything, looks good to me. If I say post, this time the whole automation workflow will go on this route and will try to publish this entire thing on different platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. See here, so LinkedIn post is already done. Facebook got, I think, some connection issues. Let me try to, okay, access token is not valid. I'll just try to establish a new connection over here. It's an old one. Maybe let's try over here. Click add connection, save this, and it's going to get the new connection over here. So anytime I wanted to connect to multiple Facebook pages, multiple Facebook profiles, I can do straight up using this kind of a method. Right. So, okay. Let's see. Currently, you can see Make is accessing request to Facebook that it can manage all the content of my particular page, all of those things, and then it's good to go. Same way for Instagram. I'll just have to reauthorize this connection, and that should be good to go. Okay, one important thing before I move forward. So currently you see I'm accessing Facebook. I connected Facebook over here, and it is going to post on my Instagram business account or Facebook business account. It's not going to post things on my personal profiles as such, because in case of Facebook or Instagram, they strictly have APIs available only for business accounts, not for the personal account at all. So if I run this whole thing again, and let's go and check if our LinkedIn post is there. Profile. See, so the LinkedIn post came out over here with this whole thing. If I click on more, you can see the whole post just posted 1 minute ago. And this whole thing, along with specific hashtags, the whole image came out like this. In case of Instagram and Facebook, both of now are successful. The post ID is over here, as well as the Instagram post ID is over here. Now, if I go and click on Instagram, let's try to see the Grow Stacks page. Perfect. See here, it is out. So Grow Stacks, it got a good write-up along with all the hashtags and even the whole cover image over here. And same thing, if you go on Facebook, and let's go for Grow Stacks official page. Perfect. Just one minute ago, you can see the whole thing came over here as well. So this is how the entire content generation and content distribution process becomes so easy. Now, you may have a question. What if I don't like this particular image? Or what if I don't like this image? And maybe AI is not doing justice to my image request, right? Content is absolutely fine. In that case, we can even put our own images. So you can upload that image on a Google Drive, and that Google Drive image can be fetched by all these platforms and it can be populated. So if you have a graphic designer, if you have someone who's designing images for you, creatives, some sort of posters, you can even include them over here. Right? So this is, and see, finally the posting status got changed to posting done. Right? So next time, if I have any other idea, I'll simply put, let's say, generate content, content will be generated. and all of things will come over here. So this is how I automated this whole process. And believe me, that saves me almost 6 to 7 hours every week while I'm populating different posts or different kind of creatives outside. It's just automated thing. I don't have to do anything at my own. So now we are going to start with a basic journey of Make. I have shown you everything over here, but it is just a kind of overview. It's just kind of an actual practical run, just to you keep you aware about like what we're getting into. But first, we'll have to understand what is Make itself, how we're going to establish our initial workflow, and then we'll build all these automation workflows together. So uh, when you start with Make, let me go and establish one account over here. So simply go to make.com. Let's go to site. And over here. Now, Make is a Czech Republic company in Europe, and they are now acquired by something called Celonis from a US-based company. Make offers you a couple of plans, out of which one is called a free plan, which gives you about 1,000 tasks free forever. So in case if you're just doing some basic process, then you can always use the free plan. You don't have to pay to Make at all, right? Now, there are a couple of ways you can sign up with Make. So you can have Google, you can have Facebook. Someone who's developer can also go with GitHub kind of signups. You'll have to provide your name, email, password, and these are two important fields which you should take care at most. Let's say some people or some businesses who are in US or European region, they have to follow certain data security or data compliances rules, right? How we saw earlier, like we are following GDPR, Make follows HIPAA compliances. So because of that, these automation platform have to keep users' data within that physical territory of that particular government, that particular country. So in this case, Make follows HIPAA compliances, and because of that, they have to keep all US business data, all US people data inside US data servers. In case of GDPR, they have to follow the the EU compliances, European Union, and there they have to keep all data, all servers inside Europe itself. Now, in case if you are anywhere outside the world, apart from US or Europe, you can choose any one of them. It doesn't make difference. So Indian government doesn't have that kind of stringent requirements to keep data within the country at this point for these software servers and all. So in our case, you can choose any one of them. It doesn't make difference. There is no difference in terms of pricing. There is no difference in terms of features, functionality, speed, nothing. It's all same, right? So for us, you can choose any one of them, but people who are there should choose it carefully. Now, the second thing is a country. So which country you are from? Why it is important? It is not just part of your regular questionnaire, but this is super important because it is going to follow the same time zone of the country which you selected. So for example, if you set up an automation workflow which has to trigger at 10 a.m. every day and do a post, for example, right, a social media post. Now, who's 10 a.m.? So whatever country you select, it's going to be 10 a.m. of that particular country time, not anywhere else. So if you're in India, select 10 a.m. India. If you select US, it's going to be your midnight, right? So precisely choose the country in a right way. Now, once we are inside Make, let me give you a quick walkthrough. So within make.com, as soon as you enter, there is a dashboard appears like this. Now, this dashboard show you very, very important aspect about the Make usage as well as what kind of plan you are on and all. So first of all, here it says, what's your current plan? Be it a core plan, be it your, let's say, free plan and all. Secondly, it also shows you what is your current pricing and how many tasks, how many operations are covered within your current plan, right? Now, why it is important? See, platform like make.com or Zapier or Microsoft Power Automate, what they do essentially, they are simply turning up your manual task into a automated task, but still the task stays, right? They are doing some activity for you. So for example, the last flow, what we have seen, that actually fetch data from your Google Sheet, put that into GPT, generate some content from GPT, then generate an image from GPT, and then finally put everything back for your review inside the Google Sheet. Now, these are four important tasks which this whole automation workflow has to do for you all the time, right? If you're doing all these tasks manual, then obviously you'll also have to put the same effort, like go to GPT, go to Google Sheet, put information, update everything back, and so on. Now, in this case, Make is doing it. So Make says, whenever I do interaction with one application, I will treat it as one task or one operation. So for example, let's say in this whole workflow, which you're going to see on my screen, if Make is interacting with the particular Google Sheet and grab my idea content from the sheet, it'll say it's a task for me. Then put this content to GPT, task number 2. Put this whole content back into this into this GPT to generate image, it's task number 3. And finally, update everything back into Google Sheet is task number 4. So that's where Make says, I'm going to count that as 4 different tasks or 4 operations or 4 credits being consumed from your particular plan. So here, Make says, I'm giving you 10,000 tasks for $10. See how economical or how cheap it is. If someone is doing these tasks for you manually by hands, it is way more expensive than they are costing hardly 8 paisa, 10 paisa kind of pricing, right? So you just have to pay $10.50 and you will get 10,000 such tasks being done every month for you, right? Now, on this particular graph, you can see how many of your current credits or tasks already consumed, and even day by day chart as well. So for example, currently on my account, I already consumed 8,600 tasks out of 10,000, 87% is being done. Now, along with this, just try to understand from this example. If I had to send a parcel from point A to point B, right? It's going to be a simple one-way journey, and I'm sending a parcel which has a weight of 100 grams. Now, someone can charge me 100 rupees for that. And the same journey has to be followed, same distance has to be fulfilled. If I increase the load of that parcel to 1 kg, obviously that courier charge will increase, right? If I make that to 100 kg or maybe a ton, for example, the distance is still same, the task has to be done is still same, but the quantum got changed, right? That happens in case of the software integration as well. So for example, if you see this whole process, if I run, or I would just try to showcase this previous run, when Make extract some data from Google Sheet, it counts how much data it is picking up from Google Sheet because it requires the bandwidth, it required that server capacity as well, right? So for example, when it interacted with Google Sheet, it took a data size of 9.8 kilobytes, which is almost nothing these days. And then it went to over here on LinkedIn, just drop that particular data, which is again about 44 bytes. For Facebook, it dropped data over there, 43 bytes, and so on. So Make consumes and Make says, whenever I'm working for your task, I have to handle the data transmission. Mostly it is content only, not very heavy data. But Make says, I have to count that so that they have another metric over here which says data transfer. So among your all these 8,000 tasks, how much data is being transmitted using Make platform? Now, as you saw, these data is hardly in KB or maybe some sort of bytes or bits and all. What if I say, I have a video inside my Google Drive, pick up that video and publish it on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube, right? Now, the whole automation will change, the whole scenario will change when Make will pick up that video. That video may be a 100 MB video, it may be a GB video, or it may be a 500 GB video as well, right? It can go up to that level as well. In that case, Make will say, I'm doing the same 2 task or 3 level task, but I have to take care of a heavy load which was not there earlier. And in that case, they'll have to even track how much data is being transferred. So currently, for every 10,000 operations, Make gives you 5 gigabytes of data transfer capabilities, right over here. And that is being tracked like this. The other part within Make itself, the good thing is like about the subscription. As I mentioned, Make offers you a free plan. So up to like 5 MB of file transfer as well as 1,000 operations are free forever. You don't have to pay, don't have to apply any credit card or any sort of payment method. It's straightforward, go ahead and start using it. In terms of their paid plan, they have 3 things: Core plan, Pro plan, and Teams plan. Core is more than good, so you can just go with that. In case if you need more operations, you can go for a higher end, which can be like 20,000 operations, 40,000 operations, or even 80,000 operations. It can go up to a million operation as well. So just choose whatever plan you want. In case if you're not able to choose on your first month, then if you end up with 10,000 operations or like exhausted within the middle of the month, simply click here, something called buy extra operations, and you can always buy in a round of 1,000 operations, which cost you about 1 If you buy 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, whatever extra you want to buy, just buy it. And from next month, you can always have a better planning about the number of operations you wanted to use. Now, another very important part is something called users. You would have already seen almost all platforms charge you price for how many people you onboard on their platform or how many users are using the platform. So that is called user-based licensing. In case of Make, the good thing is it has volume-based licensing or usage-based licensing, not the user-based. So they say you're free to use or you're free to add as many people as you want. We are not bothered about that. What we are bothered is how much you use our platform, how many operations are being consumed, right? So like obviously once you will start getting more into automation, you will have more people from your organization, from your department using this platform, and you will have to have onboarding more and more people. So over here, simply click invite a user. You can define their role. So they can be admin, member, accountant, app developer, any one of them. So simply email ID, name, and that's it. So advantages, they do not charge you for any additional user. They just charge you for the number of operations you consume. Couple of other settings, not very important. You can simply go to organization. In case if you choose your country wrong, simply correct it here. You can even correct the time zone, and that's pretty straight. Now, the main part why we are here on Make is we wanted to build automation scenarios or automation workflows. So once you go here on this purple ribbon, which is called like scenario, one of the tab, you can see this kind of a structure where all the scenarios are listed over here. Either the active scenarios are turned on like this, all the inactive scenarios are like this. So along with this, Make also gives you a folder level structure where in case if you wanted to segregate your scenarios, let's say all accounting things goes into a particular folder, all finance automation goes into a particular folder. So that's how you can even divide things into multiple folders, and automation workflows or scenarios can be classified inside Make. Now, the very, very important button is over here, something called create a new scenario or create a new automation workflow. When we get in here, we see a plain canvas with this kind of a placeholder, with this kind of a bubble, and everything else is blank. Couple of features over here. You'll have to save scenario. You can do some sort of function addition and all. You can give it a name, and that's it, right? As soon as you click, as soon as you start building your automation workflow, let's say if I click here, I see a long list of multiple apps. Many of these you would already know. So let's say Google Sheet is there, OpenAI is there. You have Microsoft Outlook email, Facebook pages, LinkedIn, Instagram, Airtable, many, many tools. They have more than 2,000 different tools already incorporated over here, right? So you just name it and you'll find it. So let's say if I just go for Google, not Google Sheet, just Google, right? You see, almost 30 plus Google apps are already available as native integration inside Make.com. So over here you have, let's say, Google Plus, Google Sheet, Google Drive, Google Doc, Maps is there, Google Keep, Chat, Forms, almost all the Google app, even you would have not heard a couple of Google apps name as well. They are also available over here. Let's say Google Shopping is there, Google My Business is there, Analytics is there. So many, many things, right? Same way, if you just type in Microsoft, you will see all the Microsoft Suite app are available over here. So be it Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Outlook, To-Do is there, Calendar, Power BI, Intra ID is there, Microsoft Planner, Microsoft SharePoint is also here. So you can do many, many things, or you can automate many, many things on all of these different platforms. Now, if you do not see any one of your application over here, in that case, Make got a custom API connector, which is called HTTP module over here. If I click on this, it allow me to directly configure an API call for that particular platform. Like how we saw Google Gmail has an API, Google Mail has an API, right? If Gmail app would have not existed here, in that case, I can simply go do make a request and I can configure the entire API call over here. So API endpoint, what method I wanted to use, and the whole body structure, what I wanted to perform with this particular API endpoint. So this is kind of facility is also given across here. Now, coming back to this particular use case of social media posting. See, remember I told you this whole automation workflow or whole automation development start with a process in hand, right? So first step is we should build a process, then we should think about building an automation itself. What do we mean by process? So process is, let's say, you have something to do, some outcome to achieve, right? Some expected result. But there is a complete backworking behind that. So we have to perform certain tasks, there are certain rules, there are certain way of working, right? And we have to document that. We have to build it like a system, like a tech infrastructure. Then we can think of automation. Now, in this particular case, the requirement I had is I wanted to automate my social media posting. Two things, content creation as well as posting. And that two content creation has two part, create the textual content as well as create the image content altogether, or multimedia content as well. Now, what I thought is from where I'm going to start this whole thing. So the first thought came to mind is like I'm getting many ideas. I see many articles, blogs. I come across many different information, be it a video format or something. So I have many requirements or many ideation in my head, which I wanted to make it through a post or make it through a social media presence. Now, in that case, obviously, I have to write my idea somewhere. I have to jot down somewhere, and maybe it happens that I'm getting 10 ideas in next 1 hour, but I don't want to process all of them all together. I may want to keep it and let's say process one by one each of them, right? So in that case, I need some space, some sort of a database, some sort of a table where I can just populate all the ideas as soon as they come to my mind. And then later on, I can think of whether I wanted to enrich them, I want to generate, post them or not. So what I found is the best way to populate everything is on a Google Sheet. It's free and it is way more flexible, way more comfortable as compared to any other tool. So I built a Google Sheet over here, and then within there, I built a sub sheet as well. So this is going to be, let's say, my social media, or maybe I'll say gross tax content planner, right? So this is the subsheet I created inside this particular sheet itself. And here I wanted to start with some space where I can drop my ideas. So here I say space for idea. Right? Now this column across the sheet is going to be used where I can populate my ideas over here. So let's say, for example, as I said, I'm starting a new shoe brand, or I may have some sort of a news thing, or I wanted to give my thoughts out to people, right? So everything can be populated over here. Can you, from all of the participants, I would appreciate if you can add or if you can give me some ideas what you would like to see in terms of a post, in terms of a social media automation example. If you have any quick requirement, any quick thought, maybe just drop a line on the chat, and not a word, please, not a single word, at least couple of words or at least one single sentence. That will be helpful. Best tools for automation, holiday in Goa. Okay. Ghibli, nice. So I'll say how Ghibli is trending and changing the landscape of arts, maybe creative art or picture art or something. A video on protest against deforestation, wildlife, holiday in Kabini. Maybe let's try this. So I'll say wildlife holiday in. I'm not sure what is Kabili, but yeah, let's see. And I'll say give it a natural theme, right? Something like this. Maybe you're populating so many ideas. Thank you very much, guys. New book published this week or this month. Let me try to grab this as well. A new book published in this week. Let's see. Okay, perfect. So what happens is I parked my ideas over here. Let me just convert this into a good looking table. Perfect. So we have this table over here. Now space for idea is ready. The second part over here is I wanted to populate or publish content on 3 platforms, which are my targeted platform. One is the Facebook, second is Instagram, third is LinkedIn. But the question is, should I want all content same across all the platforms, be it image, be it textual content, or should I keep content as per the platform theme, as per the platform expectation? Because LinkedIn platform does not expect much of emojis versus Instagram expect emoji, fun, or casual language, right? So what I thought is, why not to have 3 pieces of content, which I asked GPT, and GPT should do it, right? At the same time, the second part is should I create three different images for all of these platforms, or should I keep my image consistent across the platform? So the answer is, in case of content, we should go differentiated for each platform, versus for the image creative, we can keep it consistent. So like whenever someone sees a post across the platform, they can at least recognize it by the image, by the creative. So what I wanted to do is I'll have to get three pieces of content. But even before that, another thought process is, should I rely on the AI to generate content and publish straightforward based on my idea? Or should I review that content before it goes out? Right. So, see, these are all part of your thought process. How do you think, how your process works, how your whole system works? Right. It's not about uh, one process or one system, one thing is common for all. Obviously, not at all. So, in this case, what I thought is like, I wanted to review my content before it goes out, because I can't rely 100% on GPT or those kind of AI, and it can be really risky for my brand or for my voice tone. So, what I said is, why not to have this entire content here inside this Google Sheet, review it together, and then let it, when I say like I reviewed, I say approve or something, post this, then it should be posted on all the social media things. So what I have to do is only two effort. One is to generate this idea, and second to review this content. As soon as review is done, it's going to be posted automatically. Uh, Guys, I think you are just putting some notation on my, okay, disable annotation. 150%. Does someone need this? Should I increase or something about this annotation? I'm not sure why someone marked here, but that's fine. Okay, so see here, what I thought is like, why not to have this entire content coming back to this particular sheet, I review it, and then I'll say, okay, go ahead and it's approved. So first of all, I wanted to have content for my Facebook post. Facebook post content is here, right? Secondly, similar to this, I wanted to have another column for the LinkedIn post and the Instagram post as well. So I'll say Insta post content. And the third thing is LinkedIn post content. So these three columns I created over here, and they will carry, or they will hold my entire content over here for the review purpose. And even I can make changes as well. So whatever content comes here, if I make changes, that's going to be the final version of the content, and that will be automatically taken up by the platform itself. Finally, along with this, I should, as I said, I should also have image or some sort of visual, some sort of media along with this content. So I wanted to have one more column where I can park which media is relevant for this particular post type. So here I say media link or media URL, because obviously I can't load a file over here inside the Google Sheet itself. So this is my initial base, which is fully structured, looks good, and it is as per my expectation, as per my process. Now, there is a missing thing across here. If I say generate content or post something, there is no control. I just populated my ideas. It may be 10 ideas, 100 ideas, but there is no control which one to process, which one not to process, or which one to hold on. So to fulfill that, I'll have to add one control column as well, which will say, let's say I can just name it as control, maybe control column itself, right? This is going to be my control column, which will help me to streamline which thing to post, which thing to hold, right? So for example, I have three things over here. If I say generate content for this, then this should only go to generate the content. This should only get into the automation scenario, not all of them. When I say post something, only where I said post should go, not everything should be posted altogether. And that's how I wanted to control the whole flow. So there can be two actions and two status along this entire content structure. One is when I say generate content, it's going to generate content. That's my command. And second is when I say post the content, is going to be another command which I give to the system. The two status, two indication I want to avoid getting this whole automation into a loop. What do I mean by that? So let's say if I say generate content, and if this status doesn't get changed, the system is going to generate content all the time for the same post again, and again, right? If I say post the content, if this doesn't change, it's going to post the same thing again and again. So to prevent that, what I want to do when the content is generated, I'll say content is ready, right? And that's how I know the content is already created and is ready for my review. I can even add like ready for review or something. And the posting is done. Then I wanted to say posting done, right? It's very basic thing, very basic logics over here. I don't want to explain them in much, but in more details as such. So I said like these are the four things. Now, if you right click on them, like I don't want to write this generate content all the time for all the posts where I want to generate the content, right? So what I do is I simply going to convert them into a drop down. So right click on this. Here is an option called drop down. And as soon as I do, the drop down will automatically pick all the pre-filled values. I'll see generate content is going to be orange, yellow, maybe post content is going to be blue, content is ready will be purple, and posting done is going to be green. Right, so all these choices are already populated over here. Now, next time if I have another post over here, I simply say generate content. That's it. I don't want to write something. It's a Google's inbuilt functionality, Google Sheets functionality. So no much focus on that as such. But yeah, this is how you can make your life easy. So for now, I'll just get rid of all of these things. Perfect. Now, this is time. Our base structure is ready. We are good with this fundamental thing. We are good with our review process. We are good with our controls. Now, since we know what we are getting into, what we want to do, now it's time to go and touch the automation platform itself, right? So here we are. We created a new scenario on make.com, and this gave us a placeholder over here. Like, what is the first module from you wanted to start this whole automation? So as we know, we are parking all our automations all our ideas into this particular Google Sheet. So obviously automation has to interact with this particular Google Sheet, and we'll see what all ideas are there as per the command. So the first part of this whole automation is going to be engagement or interaction with Google Sheet, from where Make can pick the data. So as soon as I go here, click on this particular one, and I say, I can simply either see the Google Sheet over here, or I can simply go and search for Google Sheets over here like this. So first module comes as Google Sheet. It's a verified module from Make. And you can see there are many, many actions given over here, which we generally even don't see on the web interface. So you can see it says there is a trigger called watch new raw. When there is a new row added to this whole sheet, it can trigger. I can add a row, I can update a row, I can search rows, I can clear them, make changes, update a cell, and many more things can be done over here. Now, I'll have to find out a right set of actions or a particular action which suits my requirement. So let's say if I just follow by the name or follow by the specific description of this particular trigger, it says trigger the automation when a new raw is added. But that's what I don't want, right? I'm adding 10 ideas here every hour, and I don't want to process, or I don't want to trigger automation scenario as soon as I add something. So that's not a valid trigger for me. Now, what is valid? If you just scroll down a little bit, it says search raw, right? When I click on the search raw, what does it mean? It means like when I have certain condition, certain specific status selected for a raw, I want to search only that particular line, and that will be part of my entire automation workflow. Right? So before jumping into there, see, when we click on this Google Sheet, when we selected the right module, you see there is a pop-up open over here, and this is a configuration pop-up. Now, since I already added my connection, it has a connection drop down over here. But in your case, you will see a button called create a connection. Now, why we have to create a connection? The simple reason is Make does not know who you are. Make doesn't know which Google Sheet you're talking about. Make doesn't know what it has to do with that particular Google Sheet, how it's going to access that. So for that, we'll have to allow Make to work with our Google Sheet. So let's say when you click add connection or create connection, I'll just click over here. It says my Google connection. I generally follow practice that I keep name of that particular day. So I'll say the connection created on 6th April. It's admin at GrowStacks. And I'll say click sign in with Google. Okay. Now, as soon as I do, it's going to ask some authorization, some sort of steps over here. So listed all the accounts. I click admin at GrowStacks account. Now it says Make is going to connect with a Google account. Absolutely okay with me. Then it is going to ask me certain permissions. So Make is going to manage your Google Drive files, and Make is also going to manage your Google Sheet spreadsheet files. So I'm okay with that, and I'll simply allow it. So now Make knows who am I, which account is that, and which Google Sheet it has to which Google Drive it has to work with. So as soon as you do, see the connection is established over here. Now, within my Google Drive, there can be hundreds or thousands of Google Sheet or different files can be there. So how will Make get to know which file to work with? So they have provided dropdown called spreadsheet ID. I simply click on this and they're going to list all the spreadsheets inside my particular Google Drive. So see here, a long list is appearing like this. I don't want to scroll it down, so I'll simply say I have a name of my file which says social media automation mastery. So I'll just say again, and this is the file which is called content and posting version 1. I selected this. Now within the Google Sheet spreadsheet, there can be multiple sheets like this. So here we have social media master, we have content planner, we have tracking and much more. So I'll simply go here. Now I have to tell it which one is right. So I'll say Growstacks content planner. Right? This is the particular sheet which it has to work with. And then along with that, it got us like, does your table has headers? We said yes. Otherwise, it's going to consider the first line, first row as the content row. The second is it's asking us the column range, which is by default okay only. And then it has a couple of filters over here. Now, I'm not going to put any filter for now. What I'll do is I'll simply run this automation as a test and would like to showcase you how things look like. So if you have single module added over here, you can right click on this and choose run this module only. So you can test it like what kind of outputs it's going to give you. See how easy it is. You run it and you can have a look over here. It returned all the lines which existed in my Google Sheet. So first is like row number 2, because row number 1 has headers. Row number 2 has this how Ghibli is trending and changing the landscape of arts. Row number 3 has this content called wildlife holiday in Kabili, this one, right? Or new book published this week and so on. So all of these information coming along, said column A has this particular idea. Row number is here, spreadsheet, sheet ID, and how many rows are returned from that particular sheet. Now, currently there is no status given to any one of them, right? But if I want, let's say I want to go with this particular post, I want to say generate content, then I can simply go back, go to this Google Sheet and say, now put a criteria, now put a condition that if my control column, so as soon as you click here, it's going to list you all the columns and says control column has a condition. So I say if control column is equal to generate content, then only it should get this particular post out, or this should get particular row out. So currently, earlier we saw all 3 came out, but now this time only this one should come out, right? Because we controlled it by the control column status. So I already applied the filter. If I click run once, see here, this time no 3 lines are there. Only one single line came, which says how Ghibli is trending and changing the landscape art and so on. And the control column status is something called generate content. The F is there, right? Now, if I just change something else, let's say if I say this also generate content, if I run it now, just to try to make you understand how this whole logic is working. Right? So this column F is also got generate content. Now wildlife holiday in Kabili, this one, right? And this is the status coming out. So this is how Make can help you control what kind of output, and you'll have to configure the modules in the right way. That's absolutely necessary. So it says like how you wanted to get outputs, what you wanted to qualify as the valid data inside the automation workflow. So this is how, remember I told you, you should define rules, logics, and the steps, how it's going to work. Now, can anyone quickly tell me what should I do after this? I already got my content ideas over here. So I have this Ghibli art stuff. Can anyone tell me quickly what should I do next? Perfect. So we wanted to obviously generate content using our ChatGPT. See, we all are so far using ChatGPT like this. So this is our interface, and here we have things are coming out. Let's say I can ask something and GPT can respond to it. But over here, GPT is going to work with their APIs. We don't want to interact with the GPT UI at all, right? We already heard like what is API method and all. So if I click on add on the module, and if I click, or if I just try to see, I said ChatGPT. See here, the first choice came as OpenAI. And within OpenAI, if you talk about API endpoints, it has many more settings as compared to the UI part. See, it has something called message assistant, create completion, transform text to structured data, analyze images, generate image, edit image, even create translation, transcription, moderation, audio generation can also be done, many more things as compared to what you see on the UI part. So over here, currently we'll go with simple thing called create a completion, what we do with a prompt, right? Now, once you when you start using GPT, you will again see something called here create a connection. So let's say if I go here and click add connection, add new connection at all, you will see it's asking me for the API key. Now, where I'm going to get this API key, because if you're here, you'll not see any interface, anything for the GPT API as such. And I'm sure like in last sessions, you would have already seen how we get the GPT API key, but let me quickly revise that. So see here, the OpenAI platform has a backend. So if I just go on OpenAI, for example, by default, it is the landing page of OpenAI. And here you see it has all the product listed, something called GPT, Sora, and research and so on. Along with that, it has something called API platform. If I click on this, it says pricing as well as API login. So if I go here, API login, I just opened like this. And you will see that alien language comes again. So it's going to say, you're a developer, welcome to GPT. You'll have to write JavaScript, Python script, or uCurl and so on. But we are not bothered now because we already have power of no-code, low-code automation platforms. So what we are going to head on to simple settings. And over here, you'll see API keys. Now, with an API key, we can simply go ahead and generate a new API key. I'll just say dummy key for now. Dummy key 6th April. And here I can select a project, which is the default project, create a key, and the key will come like this. So simply copy this key, go back to your make.com, post it here, and I'll say 6th April, dummy key. Right. Simply click save, and your GPT backend is now connected with make.com. One very important part is this particular API key or whatever this API infrastructure, it is not part of your normal GPT plan. So let's say currently I have ChatGPT Premium, and that is like $25 plan for the business, right? So currently I'm on a Teams plan, but that doesn't mean or that doesn't include the API usage. Let me quickly describe you in 1 minute. Why not? See, if you're working on this particular GPT interface, you have human limitation. You may sit around here for maybe 8 hours, 10 hours, 24 hours, that's fine. But still, you'll be able to do very limited things with GPT. So their servers, their own resources will not consume to that level. But if you're going to put things on automation, on steroids, right? In that case, automation can send 1,000 requests within 1 minute to ChatGPT and get things done. Now that's going to be insane amount of usage of ChatGPT, and they'll say, okay, if everyone is going to do that, we'll not be able to handle the traffic itself. So that's where they say, if you wanted to go with these plans, they are available only on your browsing part, only on your mobile app, where you are as a human interacting with GPT. But when you put on API thing, it's going to be a complete different pricing. So for API usage, you have to pay extra price. Actually, you have to load money on GPT, something like this. So you have to go to billing section, and here it says, what's your current credit balance? So my balance is like $9.85. So it's clearly written over here. When your credit balance reaches to 0, your API will stop working, right? So you'll have to enable and so on. Or you can simply add balance and you can get your GPT keep on working. So GPT has paid version of API. There is nothing free. It is not included in your regular plan, which you run on desktop. Now, you may have a question. What is the pricing, or how much I have to pay for that? Right. So let me quickly go here on the pricing section, which is given right here itself, or even on their website as well. GPT works on token consumption, or they count usage on the number of tokens you consume for each request, right? So in that case, they have defined different pricing for their different models. So for example, let's say their latest model, which are OpenAI O1, O3 mini, and so on. You see here, there is a pricing written called a million token you can purchase for $15. Or let's say if you have output, a million token output can consume about $60 kind of price, right? Same way for this mini model now. In my best recommendation, you should go with something called ChatGPT 4o Mini, which is one of the most economical model, very fast, very much flexible, and has really good context window. Context means like the amount of data is being trained on. So it can do 99.99% of your regular task with a very ease without losing any quality. So GPT 4o Mini is absolutely good. And the pricing can see it's amazing. They just charge you 15 cents, hardly what, 12 rupees or 13 rupees kind of pricing, India rupees, for a million token. And output is just 60 cents for a million token, right? So if you see, when I run this whole thing over here, just to generate a social media post, let me show you how much credit it consumed. And you can just calculate how much money it takes to generate a post on GPT. So if you go here on the previous run, let me try this one sec. Like in general, it takes hardly 500 or 1,000 token, right? So that means within 12 rupees, if you consider you're going to take 1,000 or 2,000 or even 5,000 tokens every run, that will not even cost you a few paisa, like 5 paisa, 10 paisa, 15 paisa kind of pricing. Let's quickly load this and show. Okay, perfect. See here. So when we generated last time this post, which has all these results, like we're launching a new shoe brand and all, on the usage part, it consumed only 627 tokens. If I do a quick math over here, I can buy about a million token for 12 rupees. That's 15 cents, right? And then multiply 627 token, which I consumed now for this post. It not even cost 1 paisa. 1 paise ka bhi like 7%. So it is that cheap. It is that economical to run ChatGPT 4o mini with this kind of a model, right? So over here, we configured our ChatGPT API key right inside make.com. And now we wanted to, or the module wanted to choose us the right model. So when you add this $10, $20, whatever the pricing, that is on your account. You can use any of the GPT module, any of the GPT models. There is no restriction as such. But when you configure this particular one, it says which particular GPT model you want to use. So you see, O3 is already there, O1 is already there. It has 4.5 and many more models, which you generally don't see on your user interface. Why not? Because these models have many different configuration, as well as they are built to handle like large inputs. So let's say if you have a 100-page document or maybe a 10,000 word document, that can also be put in using some model called 4o turbo, or let's say 128k kind of window models and all. So over here currently we are going with simple GPT 4o mini, that's the system module, right? Now once we are here, there is a way to interact with this GPT as well. How we use this particular one. Over here, we say a message, it's going to reply us. But obviously, in this GPT, we do not have any interface. The automation is going to work on the background, on the backend. You're not going to see this interface all the time, right? So in this case, we have to define our whole prompt and the input in a very precise manner. And from there, the GPT is going to take care of the request. So as soon as I click on add message, it asks me what kind of role you wanted GPT to do. Is it a user role, assistant role, or developer role? So I'll say assistant is more than good. And here I have to give the entire context or the entire prompt that I wanted to GPT to work on. So what I did actually is I created a couple of predefined or pre-structured prompt. So one of them is here. You can see this is the content prompt which I wanted to do for content generation part. So here I said like you're a professional social media content writer and specialize on Facebook, Instagram and all. And then I say write platform specific content. So let's say Facebook requires some emojis, casual tone, maximum 150 words. Instagram is there for like 100 words maximum, but couple of emojis and casual vibrant language. LinkedIn is going to be professional business focused tone. And here I defined I want all these outputs to be very precise and structured in a different bundle or different package, right? I don't want to mess up everything. Otherwise, it'll take so much time and complexities to split those output. So here we can define a JSON structure like this. And then we set a couple of more guidelines. And finally, along with this prompt, we said, here is our content idea. So let's pick this whole thing from here to here. And then I'll just paste it like this. So my whole prompt is inside GPT window now. Now, see, the prompt is one part, which is going to be static all the time. These are instructions which I wanted to give to GPT. But at the same time, what I said is like, I wanted to generate content for a specific idea, not a generic content. So you see here, this is the configuration window and this is the input box. As soon as I click inside this, you see there is another pop-up opening which says there are mapping available from Google Sheet module. So the good thing with Make is like it gives you option to even map data from any of the subsequent modules as well. So over here you can see I have column A, B, C, D, E, F, all of them over here. Now here I wanted to map the content idea. So I can simply say drag and drop this idea space. That's it. And my Google Sheet idea is now connected with GPT. So whenever there is a new idea comes in, it's going to be automatically connected over here. Then it is asking me like how many max tokens you wanted to give for completion. Is 2048 is more than good for me. And then over here, it says what kind of response you want. I'll see JSON object because I want all the outputs into very specific category, specific collections. And yeah, even there are more settings available. We don't want to touch now. It says like temperature, top probability, number, frequency penalty, and so on. So I don't want to touch them at all. These are all good at this point. Now, let's see some magic. Let's try to run one of them. I'll just get rid of this one. And if I run this once again, you see, it's going to get the first content idea from the Google Sheets. We'll put it into the chat GPT and we'll get some sort of a content out generated by GPT itself. Perfect. So let's see. See, this output has only one thing, raw number 2. And over here, GPT gave us output like this. So have you noticed raising trend of Ghibli arts and so on, and a couple of hashtags, couple of these words, and again, a LinkedIn post as well. Right. So this is simple how it is to configure multiple modules and build an automation. Now, the next part is going to be image generation. So let's go again for the OpenAI itself. You would have already seen there is a module called create image, or maybe let's try. Yeah, generate an image. So if I click on this, simple, GPT is my common account. I already established connection, so I don't want to do it again. It's already there, 6 April, the Miki. Now over here, the DALL-E model got two models. One was very backward, like DALL-E 2 launched almost 2 or 3 years back. And here we have something more newer version, which is called DALL-E 3. So if I click on this, there is a option to put prompt. So I have another prompt for design specifically for this image generation. So over here, I say like generate image of 1080 square pixels, couple of requirements, how this image should be, couple of technical specification, and the whole instruction set. So I'll simply put it here like this. And then here it says map your main content idea, main image generation idea. So let me put a couple of spaces. Again, I can simply map my idea from this column A, drag and drop. That's it. Now, along with this, you see there is something called advanced setting. I showed you last time, right? So it can generate natural images. It can also generate vivid style images. So I can even give some sort of a size indication. It can be a square size, it can be rectangle size, and it can be portrait as well. I can also play with the quality of the image, standard or HD. I can play with the style, and I can also play with what kind of output I want. It's a URL or a file. So obviously I want a URL for now, and simply click save. And at the last, once both these outputs are generated, I'm going to save the same thing into the same Google Sheet where this idea was parked, so I can review it. So over here, simply go to this, go to Google Sheet again, and there is a module called update a raw. See, right? And now I'll simply have to choose the sheet, which sheet I wanted to update. So obviously it's going to show me a whole list of sheets. I'll say growth school is a folder over here. Then I have something called automation, social media master automation. Then I'll have to choose the right spreadsheet, which I already did. And over here, I'll have to choose the right sheet as well, which is my GrowStacks content planner. Now it is asking me which particular raw you want to choose or which particular raw you wanted to update. Obviously, it has to update the same line where I generated the content, correct? It should not come on this particular line. So see, once I click on this raw number, it should be dynamically mapped to Google Sheets, the first output, so it can map or it can update all the output of GPT on the same line, right? So see here, once we open this particular mapping window, there is a raw number coming from the first module. I can simply drag drop and it is connected. And that is easy. It is to play around with the automation these days. What I have to do now is just map all the values coming from these two modules. Let's say if I click on column B over here, it has Facebook content, drag drop, that's done. Insta content is here, and LinkedIn content is also over here. Then media link, if you see this one, image generation part, simply go and map the URL. That's it. And finally, I'll see this control column status I'll have to update. Otherwise, it's going to get into a loop. So control column status will be content is ready. So I simply update this as content is ready, right? Like this. That is easy, that is straightforward. And now if I run this whole flow, it's going to update, generate the content and populate the same content inside my Google Sheet. Let's take a look quickly. Perfect. So the first content came out about the Ghibli part. The content is generated from here. And then we have image generation is currently ongoing. Okay, this generally takes time, not more than like 10 to 15 seconds, but yeah, it's a little lengthy, more conceptual process. Perfect, it's done. And let's see here. Great. See, so our whole content came out like this. Let's format this a little bit on the Google Sheet. Perfect. See, so the media link as well as the post content for Facebook, Insta, and LinkedIn is coming up over here. And even the status got changed to content is ready, right? Now, this is easy how it is to build quick automations. Okay, perfect. And then let's see the quality of the image as well.
Yeah,
Let's
and
open that.
Manish, just to step in, right? I see a lot of comments on the chat box that, hey, it is going to require a lot of practice to be able to do this. What we are going to do right after this automation that Manish is displaying is we want to do it along with all of you and make you do it in this session as well. So for this particular workflow that Manish is covering, I would recommend everyone to observe the entire flow and we will actually make you do it. But once you do a couple of these automations, you will be able to do all of these on your own. But go ahead, Manish.
Perfect. Thank you, Benny. Great, guys. So let's try with one of them, wildlife holiday in Kabili. Someone tried to connect this. It's not Kabili. I'm not sure what is that, but I hope GPT will correct it. So let's give it a try one more time. So perfect. This time, see, we have generate content on draw number 3, Kabini. Okay. Thank you, Sudha. I hope GPT will correct it. So wildlife in Kabini. Let's see what kind of image comes out. So content is here. No, GPT did not. It says Kabili only. That's fine. Let's see. Perfect. So see, this content also came out. Now I can review it. Maybe I can do some correction over here as well. So let's say you said it's not Kabili, it's Kabini. That's good. Escape to Kabini. Also fine. And I hope it would have done some justice to the image quality. Let's see. Oh, not that good, not that bad. Maybe you can try with something called the natural image, and it can have more realistic images from that particular point. So yeah, in total, like the sense is to showcase you how this whole thing works. You may have question, do we have to use only ChatGPT daily model over here to generate image? As I said, you can use anything. You can use Runway AI, you can use Whisper, you can use, let's say, Midjourney, or you can even put your own images over here as a URL, and it's going to pick from there. So no need, no compulsion as such. It's just for the demonstration purpose. So we are on all the same page, and you understand in a very quick, easy manner. So that's the whole idea. Now, status got also changed over here. As the next step, we would like to post this content on our different social media platforms. See, to post it, what I have to do is simple go here and say post the content. If I change the status, it should follow through and will post this particular content on different social media. There are two options. One is either I can create a same workflow over there, maybe a new workflow altogether, where I say search Google Sheet Raw and then add some distribution models, let's say Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and then build it over here. Or I can use some advanced functionality within make.com where I can create another router, or I would say another sequence of actions. And from there, the automation workflow can assess like what is the status? Is it generate content or is it post the content? And based on that status validation, it can straightforward get into a particular sequence. Now for that, Make got couple of really good flow controller, which says like a repeater is there, iteration, array aggregation. One of important is called router or routers, right? So I can simply click router and I can add it into anywhere of the sequence. So let's say if I go here, I unlink this whole thing, connect it like this, and now I can add another route to the whole process. So there is a one part where I'm going to get content generated. The second part where I can simply go ahead and publish the content towards wherever the content is ready for posting. So now once I added the router, and you can do anywhere. So if you want me to repeat, I'll quickly showcase you. If I have, let's say, these string connected over here, I right click on anywhere of them. It says add a router. If I click on this, it's going to add a router over here. And this router is nothing but it can help me to add multiple routes to this entire automation workflow. So if my one condition fulfills, it can go here. Second condition fulfilled, it can go here. Third, fourth, and so on. Because any of the process can have multiple scenarios, multiple logics to handle, multiple conditions to handle, right? So in that case, these routers makes a lot help. Now, along with this, what Make offers you is it can help you to set up filters. So between these two models, let's say this module of ChatGPT, this model of ChatGPT, and Google Sheet, we can set up a filter in middle just by clicking on these string, these dots. And as soon as you click, it says what kind of condition you want to put. So if I click over here, it has condition, or it has all the data mapping from the previous module. If I say the control column status is equal to generate content, right, like this, then only it should move to this particular flow, this particular path, else don't go, right? So these kind of conditions can be put in here. I can even put a condition over here. I can put a condition over here. Anywhere you can add any router, any module, any sort of filters. Now on this particular route, I'll say if my control column status is going to be post content, then this route will follow and post the content on the automation sequence. So it says post the content. Actually, it's not post content, it's post the content, right? So I said as a filter, if control column F status is equal to post the content, then it is going to follow this particular route. Right? Now, I have to distribute this content on various social media platforms. So what I'll do, I'll simply say add this, and I'll say Facebook. The first platform is Facebook, where I wanted to distribute the content. Now, in case of Facebook, it provide API accessibility only for the pages, only for the business account, not for any personal account, because social media or Facebook is by default like expecting individuals or people to be there, real people to be there, not AIs, not automation who's working on behalf of them. So that's why for personal account, they do not have any APIs. They have API only for the business accounts or pages. So you can simply see something called pages. And here, if we scroll down, there are many actions available like the Google Sheet module and all. So here we can find something called create a post. Right? If I click on this, I'll have to add my connection. So I already did, if you remember last time. So my Facebook connection, maybe this is the one. Once I add my connection, I'll have to simply choose the page where I wanted to make this post. So if my connection is valid, it's going to get me a list of all the pages. I'll simply go here, Growstacks Business Automation. Then I have to map a message for that particular post. So simply click on message. And here, all of these columns, all of these particular fields, let's say column B, column C, column D, have my message content for a specific platform. So over here, I simply drag drop, let's say column B, Facebook page content or post content. Link of that particular creative will come from column E, just drag drop, and the mapping is done. Same way, I can create, connect Instagram. As I said, Instagram is also available for business only, not for the personal. Click on this. And over here, it has multiple things. We can create a reel post, carousel post, photo post, and so on. Currently, we have a photo. So let's go with a photo post. Similar thing here also, we'll have to go for the connection setup. But the good thing is by default, like Instagram, Facebook, both are owned by Meta. So they have, or they share the common connection across. Now, over here, I'll have to choose again, Growstacks Automation Solutions. Photo URL is coming from here as the media. The caption or the email, the post content will come from here, Instagram content, and that's it, right? In case of LinkedIn, you have a good news. So what LinkedIn says, LinkedIn is a professional platform. and somehow because of their policy or whatever, they allow API for the personal user profile as well, right? So you can manage, you can automate your entire LinkedIn without any hassle, like your personal LinkedIn as well, right? So not with company, but alongside your personal as well. See here. So on the user section, they have create a user text post, image post, video post. Same way on the organization part, they have text, image, and the video post, plus many more other actions. You can reply to comment, you can comment in someone else's post, and many more follower statistics, couple of time bound followers, and so on. So all of these things are available. Currently, we are more bothered about the LinkedIn create user image post. So let's go with this. Perfect. Now, as soon as I click on this, you see earlier there was a field available to map the image link or the media link, versus this time LinkedIn is asking us for a file. So if you wanted to publish an image or a media, you should give actual file to LinkedIn. It's not going to grab it from any URL as such, right? And that's a roadblock. Now, you may ask, like, can we upload file from our local system, local drive and all from my desktop? The answer is no, because this entire platform, this entire make.com is working on cloud. It is nowhere dependent, nowhere connected with your local system at all. It's all happening on the browser. Everything is connected using APIs. So your browser, your local desktop doesn't come in play anywhere. Even if you shut down your computer, still the automation will work at the predefined time or as the predefined functionality, right? Rules. So you don't have to like connect it with your system. Then now there is a question where this file will come from. So it requires a file. File has to be there inside make.com and we can't upload it. It is there on a particular URL or a particular link. So what make gives is a good functionality with HTTP module, which I shown you earlier for custom API calls. You can simply right click, add a module, and over here something called HTTP. Now HTTP has one good action available here, which says get a file, and it says download a file from a given URL. Now this URL can be any open internet URL, not necessarily like your image URL. It can be the open image URL from anywhere. And that gets that file downloaded inside Make environment on the Make computer or on Make server, right? And from there, that file can be directly connected with LinkedIn module, or it can be used anywhere else as per your own requirement. So for example, here, I can simply drag drop and map the media link, and that's it. Now, if I go into this LinkedIn module, cancel this, go back, this will pick file directly from this HTTP module. See here, the HTTP connection is done. So whenever the file will come, it will come here, first download inside Make server, and then LinkedIn will consume it. And let's click on the LinkedIn module. We'll have to add our content. So our content is staying over here in column D. Along with that, there are a couple of more settings available. Do we want to make this post publicly available, only to my connection, only to members, and so on? It should go on main feed or some other feed, and it's reshare available, disabled, enable, and so on. So I'll just leave all the settings as it is, and that's it. Finally, after this whole thing happens, I wanted to update the post status back to the posting is done. Otherwise, it'll keep on posting the same thing again and again. So what I can do is I can simply clone this particular module from here to here and just change the status as posting done. So I don't want to update any of these things for now. And over here, I'll say posting done, right? That's it. Now, if I run it, let's say, okay, one more important part. We pulled, like, we had one controller over here. So see here, currently we are getting only post which has column F as a status generate content. Now I can add another rule where I say column F has a status post this content, right? Now, in this case, it's going to get both the triggers wherever the post this content is there or generate content is there, is going to grab both of them. And now if I run it, you see, I made change to this particular one, say post the content, right? So if I go here, click run once. Okay, nothing came out. I think I have just mistyped it, post the content. Okay, a little thing is it was post the content, not post this content. That's why it's failed. Let's save, let's run once. Let's see the magic. See here. So this time it qualified the particular condition over here. The control column status is post the content, which is equal to post the content, and it qualified. It already populated the post on Facebook. Post ID is here. This is also done. Instagram, LinkedIn is done, and let's see the magic over here. Okay, I'll just try to show you what happened actually on the Facebook side. Perfect. See, so this Ghibli art, this post is out. So Ghibli art, couple of hashtags, and the post out just 1 minute ago. If I go on Instagram, let's get rid of this, move here. Perfect. That post came here as well. And let's see on LinkedIn as well. I would like to check on, maybe let's go to post and activity. Perfect. See, this came here as well. Now you may have a question, or maybe you wanted to clarify something. Let's say currently this second post has something called content is ready. And this post does not have any content, right? The new book published this week. If I click on this, generate content, and if I change it to post the content, they both will run together one after another, and one will be posted, one content will be generated. So let's see here. And guys, see, I'm doing this run once all the time just because I'm doing the testing part. I'll just showcase you how this automation workflow runs. I'll show you some advanced setting or some scheduling where you see how to automatically have the scenario run all the time. Whenever the time comes, whenever the event comes, it will trigger and maintain itself. So you don't have to do anything from your side. You don't even have to touch the system. Perfect. So this posting is done. This content is being generated. Let's wait to complete this and let's see the magic. Perfect. See, so content generation part is done. Here you see, it says content is ready, and here it says posting is done. Let's go and check what kind of image is generated for the new content. Perfect, not bad, not that good, but yeah, I think new book published this week. Maybe it didn't confirm the exact books. It's not connected with internet as such, but yeah, at least some good creative came out. And if I refresh for the post generation part, sorry, post delivery part, let's see. So the adventure, the wildlife trip came out like this. Yeah. See, the post is here as well as the post would have come here as well. So this is how easy it is to generate this whole content and to distribute them. I got another really interesting automation, but I think funny, you tell me, shall we go ahead there?
Yes. So Manish, we will do that. But what I want to ask everyone is, for the next 20 to 30 minutes, do you all want to try and do it along with us? Manish, what we were planning is, because many people here were feeling that they will not be able to do it themselves, Bharadwaj has planned an entire activity for 30 minutes where we want to make them also do it. And once that is done, maybe you could show the second use case.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely works.
How many
Someone
of you
already said,
do it right now along with us? Drop in a yes. And if there are enough yeses on the chat box, and
great.
I think doing it with us is going to give you practice. It is going to give you confidence as well, because the same process that you saw right now can be replicated for any other business use cases as well. And we will talk about business use cases also. But I think if we spend 20 minutes trying to build this, you will all get a much better sense and feel of the tool. Wonderful. I think we have enough yeses. So Manish, this is what I recommend, where we take the next 20 minutes. Bharadwaj will help all of them kind of build it along with us, and then we will get into the next use case.
Works, absolutely. So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right,
yes,
folks. Hello.
Let me just put the spotlight on you, Bharadwaj.
Tanya, I think a lot of folks are asking a small break. Could we give like a 3-minute break? Do you want?
Yeah, we could do a 5-minute break and then we will start the activity.
Yeah. Also, folks, just a quick heads up here. For those who are asking that ChatGPT needs paid API key, I'm going to provide you that API key just for you to test out and see how this works, right? So we'll do this along. I'll take you through the step-by-step process that Manish did. Now you'll do it with me, right? So that's something that's going to do. So Go for a quick break, grab your coffee or whatever, just rejuvenate and come back. We're going to do this together and we will get to a tangible outcome.
Wonderful. Let me go ahead and play a quick 5-minute timer and then we will get started. Okay.
Okay, so some people are asking, do we have to have a make account? Yes, you will have to. So let me share a quick link, which is going to give you 10,000 operations for free, and you can you can have enough credits to start your automation journey.
Manish, we have that link in workbook, right? So while we do it with them, I'll share that link. We have it with us.
Okay, perfect.